tuning in to the NBA on 2K Sports. It's Wednesday, Hump Day, and we're ready to bring you all the action. Along with Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Plenty of excitement here at the American Airlines Center for this Texas-sized showdown between the hometown Dallas Mavericks and the San Antonio Spurs.
This is one of those games when you look at your calendar, it's circled before. The schedule's even released, so it's one of the best rivalries we have in our league. And guys, this is the one you do not want to miss.
No doubt about it, because it seems like these two teams always have a reason to be angry at each other, a little chippy at the very least, and that brings out the best basketball in both of them.
A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. Levine is out there with Holiday. Then there's Towns. Then there's LaMarcus Aldridge, and it's Leonard in the small forward.
Hey, for Zach LaVine, the dunk contest last season was his coming out party to the world. He put on a show that everybody in the NBA was buzzing about.
Leonard, no luck.
Those are chances almost always you can rely on him to get you 2 points, but the D just enough to keep him out of rhythm.
And the lead just grows on that ridiculous offensive sequence.
You know, Clark, that dunk alone would have been spectacular. Never mind it coming at the end of an alley-oop.
Yeah, that just added more to it.
And you know, guys, right now they're starting to flatline, just hanging on here for dear life.
Just 5 to shoot. They grabbed their own miss.
Offensively, 1 of 4 to start. They're still trying to find their stroke.
Matthews with it. Now guarded by Towns. Here's Nowitzki. Nowitzki can't get that one to fall. They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Sure could, Kev. I mean, too many empty trips. They need some points.
Nice work on the inside. Hard to get that one up and over the big fella.
Well, it's not supposed to be easy down there, and a little artistry on the inside helped him make it happen.
The 10-footer. It's rebounded by Leonard. For San Antonio, they've gone 2 of 5 here, making 40% so far to start out the game. It always seems the Mavs are able to compete for a title, Clark, but their window might be closing with some of their stars aging, namely Dirk Nowitzki.
You're exactly right, Kevin, because Dirk is the centerpiece of that franchise, has been for over a decade. They made the Rondo trade last year trying for a big finals run, but eventually they'll start to have to build for the future.
And when you look at the Mavs, they have always built through free agency, still tinkered with the roster this season to get into a position to compete. Not having any lottery picks for so long has hampered their youth and development.
Well, you know, with the Mavs making the playoffs so consistently, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Cuts both ways. They rarely have draft picks that help take the team to the next level, but they are in the playoffs, which is what every team wants to be part of.
Here's Levine. San Antonio again missing.
The shooting numbers just aren't there yet in the quarter. Rare you'll see him miss such an open look.
And he makes it look easy, dunking it hard with one hand.
No doubt that is within his range.
Well, I would hope so. He's a pro, and it was only a 1-footer. Come on now.
Here's Matthews. And he says right back at you with a big dunk of his own.
Well, I love that sweet up fake, Kevin. It worked like a charm there and gave him a clear path to the lane and then to the hoop.
Well, that move is one of the prettiest out there if you can pull it off. Here's Towns after Dirk Nowitzki's bucket. Out of bounds, Dallas takes possession.
You always want a player to have his head up and to be surveying the court, but not if that's going to be the result.
A different look now for San Antonio. Duncan, he's checked in for Aldridge. And it's Green in for Levine. Scooped up.
And, you know, coaches just love players who they can count on to give that effort defensively.
And he clearly is one of those guys, Greg. We saw it right there. Nice work forcing that miss.
Here's Holiday. That's good, and it's Leonard with the assist. Holiday's got his second basket of the night.
They are really doing a nice job establishing a presence inside early.
And watch, Clark, how the game plays out, because this is going to open things up on the perimeter.
Here's Leonard, following the score by Derrick Rose. Towns. Nice D from Nowitzki.
That's what we call good defense in the paint, worth its weight in gold.
It absolutely is, and maybe even more than that. I mean, you saw it right there. Without his presence, that's an easy basket.
And really nothing like a good old-fashioned throwdown to get a team going.
And, Greg, they do need to get going. They wouldn't mind, you know, shaving a couple more points off that lead right away.
Well, if the defense keeps giving up easy baskets like that, it won't be a lead for long.
Andre Jordan has been extremely productive over 7 years. That makes it even more unbelievable that there was some question, Clark, as to his commitment to basketball coming into the league.
Yeah, you know, on talent and athleticism alone, he would have been a top 10 pick for sure, but he slipped to the second round, and he's made good on it, though.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game.
And watching DeAndre Jordan, he's really refined his game over the years without losing the athleticism. He's that rubbery, long-limbed athlete that transcends age. And so far, I've seen zero drop-off in his leaping ability and quickness, but no question he's improved his skills and IQ.
And it's a completely new group on the floor for the Mavericks. The Spurs also changing it up. Kyle Anderson, he's checked in for Towns. Gary Neal comes in for Leonard. And it's Mills in for Drew Holiday. Barea, no good.
And talking about DeAndre Jordan, he is displaying an energy level that many scouts wondered if he had. Let's face it, he underachieved a bit in his 1 year in college. He knows that. But when it's come time to do it at the highest level, DeAndre has risen to the occasion.
Here's Mills. And that comes off the assist by Duncan. Mills has got 7 points in the game.
Boy, they keep hammering away at him inside, forcing that ball into the paint. Smash mouth basketball.
And Clark, it's a strategy that has served them well during the course of this first half.
Green, no luck.
Oh, tight defense being played right there. Got right up on him and forced the miss.
Textbook work. Close enough to bother the shot. Good challenge, but disciplined enough to avoid too much contact.
Here's Barea. There's 37 seconds left in the first.
And just another example, Kevin, of how they built this lead, just outworking.
Greg, that was definitely an effort play right there. You talk about that all the time, fighting to get proper position, then slamming home the putback.
Yep, and if they can maintain this energy level, their lead will be safe.
Williams kicks the foul. Some nice passing here by Dallas. Left side, Felton. It's stolen by Duncan. Here's Neal. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
Really the right play defensively. If you can't block, force them to the line.
Yeah, exactly. Prevent the layup, give them a little bump, and then maybe they'll think twice about coming into the lane next time. And if they don't think about it, at least they might be distracted by your presence.
Just solid. Really one of the very best there is at the free throw line.
And Kyle Anderson gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul.
I mean, that's a tough break for the D. I mean, he took the hit and drew the whistle.
Yeah, but he was late to get there, Greg, so the referee couldn't.
A nice first quarter of play. We've seen plenty of offense so far. Mavericks ahead, up 1. And we'll get going after this from the American Airlines Center. Well, it's been a tight one so far as we get the second quarter going back here. And what do you think, guys, about Dallas here in this one?
It's been about the effort. Love the hustle they've shown here in the first.
Yeah, it's due to their hustle, as you said, Greg, and it's showing up on the scoreboard, too.
And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's the second quarter to play. On the floor for San Antonio, Aldridge out there with Towns. Then it's Holiday. Then there's Kawhi Leonard. And it's Levine at the two guard. Well, the Spurs just don't go on losing streaks very often, Greg. One perk of being a talented veteran group.
Yeah, how about the Spurs lost 4 games in a row twice last year. Over the last decade before that, Kevin, they had only lost 4 games in a row twice. Unbelievable.
Curry, pitch to Matthews. Taken away by Holiday. Here's Aldridge. The Spurs rebound. Leonard, no luck.
The defense ready for him on that possession. They had to be. But he is so strong in the paint.
And the basket is good. Got it to go through on the contact, so a free throw coming up. A great opportunity for a three-point play. And some changes here for the Mavericks. Jordan, he's checked in for Bogut. And it's Rose in for Curry.
And you look at the Spurs and how they avoid losing streaks. I mean, most teams losing 4 in a row wouldn't be such a big deal. It's only a big deal for the Spurs because they're so consistent year in and year out. Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
That's right. 5 of their last 6 makes were on the interior. They've established their inside presence.
Levine passes to Leonard. Stolen by Anderson. Shoots a fader. The shot is off. And the Spurs going the other way now.
And guys, for the Spurs, a big reason they rarely go on losing streaks is that they have no bad matchups. One of only 3 teams in the NBA last year to defeat every other NBA team. Winning for this group is just second nature.
From 13, count that as his 4th basket of the night. Just 7 shots to get there.
Guys, his consistency in terms of shooting has really helped them seize control.
And Holiday, here we go. Here's Levine. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
And one thing that everybody loves about Coach Pop is his frankness. You get a taste of it in interviews, but he's as honest and straightforward with you as he is with anybody else.
Catching up on the changes for Dallas. Harrison Barnes, he's checked in for Anderson. And it's Felton in for Matthews. Green, he's checked in for San Antonio. The pass to Nowitzki. Fader on the way. Again, the miss by Nowitzki. Well, you've got Greg Popovich, and I think he puts this at times grumpy demeanor in a more of a spotlight. He's playing along, as we all know, with the sideline reporters. He knows, Greg, you know this firsthand, when to turn it on, when to turn it off. He can be as compassionate a person, Clark, that you and I have ever been around.
Yeah, he's competitive, but he understands that we're all human, and he treats people the right way all the time.
And a breakdown here, guys. The hustle stats for the Spurs.
It looks like they're ready to run, fellas. I mean, they haven't hesitated at all to get out on the break so far.
Yeah, and one thing, Clark, I've noticed is how quick their hands have been tonight. Thanks to that, they've gotten a lot of points off of turnover.
Derek Williams, he checked in for Dirk Nowitzki. Now here's Towns. He's guarded by Williams. And stolen by Jordan.
It's an awkward pass to try to make on the interior.
That is up-tempo basketball at its best. So much easier to operate in the open court when a steal triggers the break.
And really, basketball is about rhythm, and that allows your offense to flow better. Now let's see if they can build on it and keep this lead.
And the dunk by Aldridge.
And guys, this game won't be close for long if they keep giving up dunks like that.
No, it won't, G.A. You're right. A glaring error defensively and letting him get all the way to the basket that time.
But it's only 2 points. I mean, it was flashy, no doubt, but still, it only counts for 2. 2 is all.
Derrick Rose has certainly piled up the awards for such a young player, starting with Rookie of the Year, the 111 first-place votes to only 5 for the runner-up. We know about his MVP, and that just shines out so brightly for him.
And how about he and Michael Jordan, the only MVPs in Chicago Bulls history?
San Antonio calls timeout.
And the Spurs last season became the first franchise to hire a female assistant coach. A big step, not just for the Spurs, but really for all of the NBA.
Powell, he's checked in for Dallas. Barea comes in for Rose. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Towns. Kyle Anderson comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. Gary Neal's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. And it's Mills in for Levine.
I mean, that can happen to anyone, but it's... ugly every time it does.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, embarrassing. He just lost his concentration for a split second, and that's all it took.
Well, as Greg was just talking about, the assistant that was hired was Becky Hammond, a phenomenal player for a very long time in the WNBA. And Clark, you know, you and I were talking about this before. She was a perfect candidate to become the first full-time female assistant.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it might not seem like... that big a deal to some, but this was a big-time barrier breaker that the Spurs pulled off.
Catching up on the changes for Dallas. Bogut comes in for Derek Williams. And Curry subbed in for Raymond Felton. Then for the Spurs, Andrew Bynum's checked in for Anderson. And Moore subbed in for Gary Neal. And the dunk by Barnes.
Boy, that's a really nice feed by J.J. Barea.
Yep, it goes. And the Dallas lead is cut down now to just 3 on the basket from Moore. For Dallas, they've gone 8 of 12 since the start of the second quarter. That's a really high percentage, hitting around 67%. At the elbow, Green. And that's a foul called on J.J. Barea.
That's his first personal foul.
Moore outside. Duncan dishes to Green. Shot from 12. Powell pulls it in. Mavericks leading by 3. Passes to Barnes. The feed to Barea. That's good on the jump shot.
I tell you what, fellas, we're seeing some really good ball movement out there.
Definitely. 10 of their last 12 points have come off assists.
Shot's good. Dallas has gone 0-2 from deep here in the second. Some nice passing here by Dallas. Here's Powell. Green with the block.
Not sure if they're aware of the 2-for-1 opportunity.
Well, they ought to be. I mean, that's basic basketball time management. You've got to be aware of your clock and your situation.
Outside Curry. Hogan sets a screen for Curry. Now the dish to Powell. Nobody near Barnes. Good on the triple. Barnes has got 10 points.
Right now, they've got that field goal percentage up in the low 50s.
Putting it together offensively, looking to build some more momentum. And he's just going all out to get the second chance points. Just a terrific finish.
There was no one that was going to prevent MGA from converting that one.
Well, clearly this is the kind of game that could come down to 1 or 2 plays, and he wants to be the guy to make those plays.
Knocked away and stolen by Aldridge. And a pretty tightly contested game here as we end the first half. Mavericks lead by 4. And don't go away. After the break, we'll see you right back here for the start of the third quarter. We have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second half of basketball. And you know, Harrison Barnes has really been making it happen, guys.
I know we've said this many times before, but what a great first half. Just an offensive juggernaut.
And, you know, in the end, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about what a great second half he had, guys. I mean, he can usually keep it going for all 4 quarters.
Let's start the second half strong and keep it going.
The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game.
You know, Barnes is playing well. He's got 10 points, and he's knocked down a pair of 3-pointers in this game, too.
And maybe it's time for them to set a few more screens for him up top and let him add to that total.
We've got Jordan. Nowitzki is out there with Harrison Barnes. And it's Matthews. And it's Rose in at the point guard position. So that's who Rick Carlisle starts the second half with. And guys, for Drew Holiday last season was a tale of 2 halves. Over the first half, he displayed the leadership and the playmaking skills the team had originally acquired him for.
You know what, Kevin? Over the second half of the year, everything just kind of fell apart for Drew. He couldn't shake an injury to his lower right leg, and as a result, had to watch from the bench as his team fought for its playoff lives.
The Mavericks leading, and Matthews kicks to Nowitzki. Jordan the pass to Rose. Matthews with it, and Holiday picks him up defensively. Goes back up. That doesn't go either for Nowitzki.
He just has not been able to get into that groove yet, guys, but as a whole, it hasn't affected them too much.
For the finish, and the dunk by Rose.
Yeah, how about the sharp steal and then run out? It looks like they're ready to put the hammer down.
Well, we've been waiting for one of these teams, Greg, to pull away. Maybe that'll be a springboard for them.
Could be. A dunk like that coming off a great defensive play has to build some momentum.
Nowitzki for 3. That doesn't go either for Nowitzki. Here's Levine. And the shot is good. The Maverick lead has been cut down to just 2 points in the bucket from Towns.
3 consecutive baskets have come right at the rim. Defense had better start buckling down and tightening up.
Guys, they are getting exposed in terms of their low post defense.
And the Mavericks with some changes. Felton comes in for Wesley Matthews. And Barea subbed in for Rose. Jordan dishes to Nowitzki. And that one's good. Nowitzki's got 10.
He presents a defender with a serious challenge, always.
Leonard kicks to Aldridge. He dishes it to Levine. Goes up the baseline. And the jumper falls for him. 10 points for him. The Mavericks have gone 3 of 8 so far in the third quarter, looking to lock in that rhythm. Nowitzki with it. Leonard picks him up. It's deflected. And now it's Leonard running. Here we go. All the way. It's good. The assist that time from Holiday. Holiday's got 3 assists tonight.
Well, he knew how many inches he had over the guy. I mean, let's face it. Good decision to just rise up and take the jump shot.
Here's Nowitzki. Again, the miss by Nowitzki.
He's going to play his way right onto the bench and out of the game if he continues to shoot it like he has so far in this quarter.
Tries to keep it alive. The shot by Jordan, no good.
You know, just a little too fancy on that play.
Well, you don't want to force any play, but particularly the alley-oop. You'd like to try that when it's wide open.
For San Antonio, they've shot 4 of 7 as a team from the line tonight. Several misses early. Powell, he's checked in for Dallas. Derek Williams comes in. For Harrison Barnes. San Antonio also making some changes. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Towns. Kyle Anderson comes in for Kawhi Leonard. And Gary Neal subbed in for Drew Holiday. The Spurs have gotten 5 of 8 shots to fall for them in the third quarter.